What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dice House and their DCO commentary. I thought I'd bring this video here today because I've had people talk to me, ask me questions about this before in the past, and people want to know, like my stance on, 1v1s, Fight Club, and that such. Uh, if you guys look back at my previous video and all that, you see me, fighting a Chroma back during Mega Servers, when Mega Servers first hit over a year ago now, and I said I was done with Fight Club. I was done with 1v1s. And I'll admit that's kind of hurt my some of my PvP skills a little bit as far as time and block breakers, stuff like that. I'll admit that, but at the same time, man, I've saved up so much time doing other things, but instead of sitting around Fight Club all damn day, just 1v1 and dealing with the drama that goes on there. A while back, somebody started up a post about dueling etiquette on the forums, and I recently, I've been getting somewhat of a more of an interest in 1v1s, but in the current state and location of where they're being played at, especially with some of the people who show up there, it's just not. I don't think I still can't take them seriously. Um, it's just the way I feel about it. But on this post here, I posted up some like the basic rules of Fight Club, um, and mainly because a lot of people didn't know what those rules were. I mean, I was there when Fight Club first got started up. I mean, I didn't start it, but I was there, and the rules changed over time. Back then it was like when it first started up, it was like a free for all. But then certain discrepancies or inconsistencies between different powers and power sets and roles and everything started to show through, and rules were changed and adapted over time to reflect that. And and they still are. I mean, the rules of Fight Club have always been like a adjustment period. I mean, it's like my last 1v1s, I was fighting people in tank stance. I don't even believe in that anymore. um, so and I whenever I call people out on that, fighting in their main roles, now people look at these videos that are over a year old, and they're like, "Oh, all you used to do is 1v1 tank stance." I was like, "Well, that was over a year ago, man." So I mean, like I said, rules change, they adapt. People need to adapt with them in order to have what I would refer to as a legit 1v1, a legit duel or a legit fight club. Uh, so, anyways, I put up like the 8 rules of Fight Club. I stole some of the wording, initial rules wording heavily from the movie Fight Club, simply because I thought it fit. But I'm going to throw out these rules here and everything. I'm interested to see what you guys think. I mean, the rules that I put out there for Fight Club were well received by several people. Granted, now there were people out there saying, "I'm not going to follow your rules." That's fine. You don't have to go and do Fight Club. Then go so to supercharge your way to victory as much as you want to. Um, if that's what you feel that you need to do in order to win, by all means, knock yourself out. But the large majority of the people who take Fight Club seriously, myself included to some extent, um, believe in these rules and they use them whenever they're fighting, uh, doing 1v1s at Fight Club. But anyways, here were the rules that I put down on it. There's some adjustments are need to be made now because of gear discrepancies, stuff like that. But we'll get into it right now. Here are the basic rules. Okay, first rule: you don't have to talk about Fight Club. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're talking about it right now, but the less people that are there, the less lag we're all gonna get. I mean, that's just the bottom line, especially on the PS3 side. Uh, Second rule: do not talk about Fight Club. All right, basically the same as the first. All right, but there's so many people there who don't understand the basics of just even starting a duel. All right, or a 1v1 that they can end up ruining it. And the main issue with that is isn't so much the people that don't know the rule or how to start them. It's the people who aren't willing to listen. All right, in order to join in on the fun and be, then basically respect the rules. uh, let's see. The third rule of Fight Club: the fight is over when somebody goes down. All right, when somebody goes down, all right. If it's between a hero and a villain, let somebody from the other faction pick the guy up. Don't arrest them. All right, because no, it's not that much of a convenience, but let them pick him up. Let them let the other faction pick the guy up you just beat, and walk away with your win. I mean, it's a sign of respect when you don't break somebody's gear like that. It's a sign of respect that it was a good fight. So show it. Let's see. Only two guys. Rule number 4. Only two guys to a fight. Basically, that's the way it is. All right. It's a 1v1. So no throwing block breakers, power, or heals out for your buddy. Don't jump in on a 1v1. It's a 1v1. This isn't the WWE we're trying to do here, guys. There's no chairs or anything like that. Let's see here. Rule number 5, one fight at a time. All right, now this mostly applies for like on the roof of Star Labs, where Fight Club's been located at for a long time. I don't call it Fight Club anymore. I call it Drama Club or Gank Club, depending on the situation or time of day. But there's usually because before this dueling system came into effect, you'd have people like 2 or 3 people up there, or 2 or 3 groups rather, up there having 1v1s. Healer would throw down a healing circle, and next thing you're over there fighting you're fighting somebody, and you end up in that healing circle, and you're getting heals unintentionally. I mean, if you watch my video with me versus a Chroma, you'll see that happen, I think, at least once while I was fighting them. But now with the way the dueling system works, I'm pretty sure you don't catch any outside heals or power while you're in the middle of a duel. So, I mean, depending on how you start the fight, this rule may or may not apply. No supercharge. This is rule number 6. No supercharge, no sodas, no pets, no wolf form. All right. I'm also going to add no PvE trinket. All right, because not everybody has access to them. Plus, you're going to understand this later on down the road here with some of these later rules why. But basically, some sodas are better, some supercharges are better. Watcher heals are ridiculous. Wolf is broken and a crutch, in my opinion, still. And not using any of these keeps things on a level playing field. All right, so basically, like no pets. That's when you see a suppressor turret out there. That guy's cheating. All right, this isn't Pokemon, guys. This isn't Pokemon. This is 1v1. All right, this is where you see Ash and Brock, duke it out, and Pikachu and whoever else gets to sit up there in the stands and watch them fight for a change. Rule number 7, fights will go on as long as they have to. All right, this has evolved over the history of Fight Club. All right, before the RPS system was tweaked and made more apparent and stable, it was common to see, like a tank versus healer, and the outcome would still be unclear. I mean, I've gone up against some really bad sorcery healers in the past who popped what's the bird one? Not Transcendence. Anyways, I've gone up against some bad sorcery healers though in tank stance, and I've beaten them still. Even when they supercharged on me twice, and so did. It was ridiculously funny seeing that. But the outcome was still unknown. All right. Even in some case with troller versus tank, or healer versus a controller, the outcome was still unknown on who would definitely win that, because the RPS system wasn't as predominant, or didn't really play through as much as it does today. But now it does. The only way to deal with that, and make it a fair fight between a sorcery and a fire, is if you guys do it all in DPS stance. All right. I mean, and this isn't just for opposing roles. This is for like the healer fights. I mean, have you guys ever watched a 1v1 between between 2 healers that were really good at healing? That could last a long time. I mean, a duel between fire tanks where it was like no holds barred. that could last a long time. Um, so, and the whole point of these fights is, if you want to have these epic battles on, set those up, sure, by no means, but a regular fight club, you know, you guys, the best way to do it is to do it in damage stance, in DPS stance, simply because that's the way the majority of people are doing it now these days because of the RPS system. I don't go after any controllers while I'm in tank stance. I don't, I'll fight healers, but if I fight healers, I'm supercharging on you. That's just the way I'm doing it now because I'm tired of people crutching, basically. I mean, it's basically a crutch, to do it in your main role. And yeah, it'd be a crutch for me to do it in tank stance, going up against a gadget DPS or a mental DPS or a troller, or another tank. As far as I'm concerned, you're crutching. Now, there are issues with the whole gear situation, and I understand this. This is why I've kind of adapted this rule around to fit this simply by saying that everybody can get it. It's not that expensive, but and I know it may take up some inventory space, but go and get yourself a set of like at least your Walmart gear. Get your Archangel and your Bloodbat, or go get more majority of us probably have enough influence by now to where we can go get a full set of Tier 1 with our influence. Get a Bloodbat or Tier 1 and use that for 1v1s. Everybody, just like have an agreement with everybody. I think this would be an excellent new adaptation for Fight Club to do it that way by using Bloodbat gear or Tier 1 gear. The Walmart or the Tier 1 PvP gear. But DPS gear, not healer gear or tank gear or controller gear. DPS gear. I think that's the fairest way of doing it, without forcing people who are not full Tier 4 for their main role and DPS. To have to DPS in their healer gear or their controller gear or their tank gear. And then the final rule of Fight Club. If this is your first night at Fight Club, you have to fight. Alright, this is obviously for all the people who are new coming to Fight Club. 1v1s are started in two different ways. You start them with either a bow or a salute emote. I always salute whenever I start a 1v1. Or whenever the duel countdown clock ends. You send a duel invite to somebody, they accept it, all right? And it counts down, 3, 2, 1, go, fight. When the fight happens, when it says fight, that's when you start your fight, okay? I've run into people who have, as soon as that countdown timer starts, man, they bring out all their pets. They start up all their buffs. They're pre-buffing themselves, their powers or their crit, their wired or fiery weapon or something like that. And then they drink a soda just before the timer starts. And I'm like, are you serious? This is the extent that people will go to just to win a fight. Meanwhile, I'm standing there and I'm just looking at them the whole time. I think it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, the countdown timer is there for a reason. The bow and the salute emotes are there for a reason. That's when you start a fight. Okay? Perfect example. Granted, this is a little bit more elaborate. Look at the my Battle of the Sidekicks video. You'll see how a legit 1v1, in my opinion, should be set up between two people. Granted, you may not actually need somebody there to, tell them to fight, when the countdown timer, goes off, I mean, and it says fight, I mean, that would be a good indicator right there. So we went an extra step in that. But, I mean, that's a perfect example of how a 1v1 should go, today. But, I mean, that's basically it for the rules. And also to add to this, simply because this is the way I feel about it. I've been joking with, as much as I like to go up to Fight Club, or I'm sorry, not Fight Club anymore, it's Star Labs. Fight Club's dead in my eyes right now until something along the lines of, what I've stated here takes place. But, I like to go up to Star Labs, and I like to stir it up. I ain't gonna lie. I like to get kids hyped up, and it works every night. Every time I go up there, somebody gets hyped at me. All right, all because they just I mean, people just love getting hyped up in this game for some reason, and it entertains me to see it. But the only way for Fight Club to actually work anymore, because of all the drama seekers that are up there, is to do it on the PvE phase. That's the only way to make it work. All right, if you're not doing it at on the PvE side, and you're up there on the PvP side trying to do it, then you're looking for the drama. That's the only reason why you're really there, to be honest with you. Yeah, there are people who go there legitimately looking to do 1v1s, but because of all the ganking and jumping that goes on up there, it's not possible to do. It's not possible to have a civilized Fight Club, so to speak. Anyways, I'm interested in what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below what you think about all this. If you liked the video, please do so by giving it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Until next time, you guys all take care. Bye.